Black women is the only group of women that says things as a collective. I don't need a man.
As a married black woman with almost all married black women friends, I think most of what she is saying is nonsense.
Oh, so fabulous. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi Leah. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. So my usual disclaimer, this video is strictly for educational purposes only. Please do not search out the person that I talk about in this video. Do not send them any form of hate or threats or violence or whatever. This is strictly for educational purposes and so that we can have a conversation about it. This channel does not support any kind of hate comment or violence. So now let's get right into it. So a young beautiful black lady dropped this video on TikTok and everybody has just been talking about it. So many people have things to say about what she said. So let me play her video right now.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged, and the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women? I know y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach. If it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear it. Instead, we'll say, well, men do it too. Secondly, we'll find every excuse in the world to validate why we don't want to be married or why we don't want to be in a relationship. Well, they get cheated on. Well, they do this. Well, they do that. But then we have all these standards for men, and we're still actively seeking for men in the midst of our hurt while inadvertently telling them to go to therapy. We do not practice what we preach. Thirdly, the independent woman is a myth. Actually cared about being independent and it was something that made you happy, you would not have all these standards to negate your independence. Nobody wants to relinquish power. Find every excuse in the world to not be submissive and wonder why white women can get away with their bad behavior. We take everything bad from white women except for the fact using marriage to our own benefit. But you'll run to the child support office though. Equality against men, and the only time we actually want to be equal to men is when it comes to degenerate behavior, hypersexuality, abusing or abandoning children. Even when it comes to the gold digger conversation, what you don't see those other women do, even when they are just screwing men for money, is bashing men and inadvertently making men feel like they're not important. Also too, telling them that they don't need men. Psychologically, we have been taught to disassociate ourselves, and even in that Malcolm X quote where he says the black woman is the most disrespected, he also says to be near your man. Because who taught you to hate the very race that you're supposed to be with? I knew what I said was going to cause some tension, and that's okay. I stand on everything I said. But since y'all are having such a disconnect, let me go ahead and break it down for you. You don't have to go to college to find a man. But what's not common is you don't see a lot of black women sitting in the audience either engaged or married, even though we are the most enrolled. On top of that, 1 in 4 of us are married. So, even though black men marry us at higher rates than they marry outside of their race, and they are the demographic that marries interracially the most, they're still not marrying black women at substantial rates compared to other races. White women almost double in marriage. What I'm speaking to is a mentality. Black women is the only group of women that says things as a collective. I don't need a man. I'm strong and independent. Fuck to get money. I can raise my kids on my own. I can do everything by myself. We're the only group of women that disassociate ourselves from our men. And the very moment that they come with their preferences in response to our standards, we have the audacity to say things like they're insecure, sassy, zesty, misogynistic, or they just simply hate black women. Y'all don't practice what you preach. A lot of y'all are trying to heal from the hurt that your father caused, and you taking it out on every man as if you dated every black man, and then we'll have the audacity to say, well, these men are not doing this, these men are not doing this. The definition of insanity is doing something the same way, expecting some different results, and y'all keep doing stuff the same way because it's a mentality. So I'm fine if you want to argue, but make sure you can substantiate what you're saying, because I can.
So you guys, you can see that she had a lot to say, and yeah, I give it to her. She has some points, but there are just a lot of things that she said that I think we need to talk about, and a lot of people had a lot to say. So let me just play different reactions and responses from people, and I want you guys to take note of the kind of responses the women are giving and the kind of responses the men are giving, because obviously these two groups of people will understand and respond to what she's saying in different ways.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged, and the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
Because black parents in the black community tell us school is for education, which is true. It's not for relationship, which is also true. A lot of us see relationship as a distraction because this is probably our only one shot at getting a diploma or a degree. Many of us are in different situations than other people. We do not have the money to keep retaking courses in college or getting a high school GED. Some of us don't even have the time. A lot of relationships actually do not matter in high school. And in college, you're going to want to build up your life instead of a relationship. Housing, rent, job, and more. And you go on to say it's because of black woman dating standards. I have never met black women like that you described in that video. We need to worry about our people being educated than relationships.
Our above reproach, if it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear
it. Let's go. So we have this young lady who decided that she was going to take a few swipes at black women by saying how we don't like to be submissive, we're too independent, etc., etc. But I'm going to kill a lot of her arguments. First of all, black women are validating themselves. We don't need validation from anyone else. Secondly, black women are taking a lot of accountability. Black women are going to therapy. Black women are addressing childhood traumas. Black women are addressing relationship traumas. Black women are trying to be better mothers and wives as a whole. Secondly, you say that black women will fight against submission. That is very, very false. There are plenty of black women who will tell you they will submit to the right man. They will submit to a man that loves them, respects them, protects them, and provides for them. And until they find that man, they will remain single. Okay? You with me so far? All right. Now, then you went on to talk about the independent black woman. And this is going to get deep, so stay with me, okay? Black women have been left unattended for many years. We're going to start with slavery when we were brought here. They were taking our fathers, they were taking our husbands, they were taking our brothers, they were taking our sons and selling them off, and we had to be the head of the household. After slavery, Jim Crow laws, they were lynching our men. What did we have to do? We had to go out, make money, provide for the children that these men left behind that were through no fault of their own. We're going to skip ahead to about the 1960s, 1970s when heroin came on the scene, and that heroin did not let them go. And why didn't it let them go? Because they put it in predominantly black neighborhoods so that we would destroy ourselves. The 1980s crack epidemic took a lot of our men out of the house because while a white man could get 6 months probation for powder, the black man was going to get 10 years for crack cocaine. Also, do you remember that they also at one time told black women that in order to get assistance from the government, no man could be in the house? So we've consistently had to be independent. Black women are the only women who are always asked, what do we bring to the table? Nobody asks other race of women that. But then you have the audacity to call us gold diggers when we ask to be provided for. So rather than do all of that, we go out and we provide for ourselves. Now, most black women don't care how much a man makes. Providing is more than money. Can you provide stability? Can you provide security? Can you provide comfort? Can you provide love? Can you provide respect? Can you provide a good father for my children? Come on, baby. You couldn't have been this dense.
At their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women?
The answer you're looking for as to why black women aren't getting married at the end of college isn't that black women aren't submissive or black women are just too independent, but it's instead a combination of two very simple things to understand. Number one is when white women are going to college for an MBA, they're really going for an MRS. When black women are going to college for an MBA, they're actually going to get the degree. Marriage is the number one priority for white women when they go to college, and then the degree is second. But for black women, they want the degree, they want the education. And number two, simply put, is black men just simply are not where we are. Fortunately for me, I go to a predominantly black institution, and there's a whole bunch of HBCUs surrounding me in the Atlanta metropolitan area. The city is very black, but for a black woman going to somewhere like the University of Alabama, she's not going to find a lot of black men there. The black men are the football team. Black women are not a monolith, and everything we do can't be summed up with broad generalizations and stereotypes. But if you're talking about yourself, I highly suggest that you seek therapy for your problems.
Graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women?
So, I mean, maybe outside of our culture, people don't know this, but in our culture, we do dumb shit. We're not thinking about longevity. So, in high school, we're thinking about having a good time, partying, drinking, smoking, stuff like that. And in other cultures, they're being taught to think about longevity and what life is down the line. So they're, trying to find marriage early. And as a black man, I wasn't looking to marry. I'm almost 30. I'm still not looking to get married. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's the women. I think it's the culture.
I knew what I said was gonna cause some tension, and that's okay. I stand on everything I said. But
She bodied that whole track. But if you mind if I add on to it, I think that single mothers have been raised to be single mothers. So as a child, when you watch someone be a single mother, you think what you need a man for. It's been in our generation the whole time. But that's my personal opinion.
A group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged, and the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
Why are you minding white women's business? See, when they insert themselves into our business, we quick to check them. Now, I'm not going to play that double standard shit. Their men and what they do with their men and why they choose to marry their men at a certain time is their white business. We got too much shit going on in our community because our black men don't want to get their mental health together, and you up here comparing us to them. Worry about your own black business. And I can assure you most black women that got married out of high school or college are divorced now because our men have mommy issues and they're going through a mental health crisis. This is giving pick me energy.
And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality?
I can't speak for the rest of y'all, but me and my wife got married her senior year of college. I was in the middle of a 12-month deployment. So when we went to her graduation, she already had a rock on her finger. I'm just saying.
Who are sitting at their graduation engaged. And the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women?
This is a really good question, and I have an answer to it, and the answer is in two parts. The first part is who to put blame on. First of all, the responsibility of the earth and maintaining it was put into the hands of men. So if there's any problem, any fault, or anything wrong with anything that goes on this planet, you're always going to find a man or a group of men that the problem is going to be traced back to. That's just off rip. So this issue of black women right now not being married, you're always going to trace that back to a man or a group of men who fucked up somewhere. And the second thing is that there's just not a family infrastructure being taught to black children as they go older into adulthood. Like, I'm Yoruba, I'm Nigerian, and anyone who is Nigerian knows that, number one, our women are taught how to be wives and our men are taught how to be husbands, because there's going to be a day where they have the responsibility of building and leading a family.
So now that you guys have seen all those responses, I was paying attention specifically to what the men were saying to see if they were going to agree with what she was saying, because sometimes when people come and say things like this that sort of bash women, or someone is come to tell women this is what you're doing wrong, this is why society treats you this way, this is why you're not getting married, sometimes you see a lot of men who come in the comment and be like, preach sister, thank you for saying this, like they agree with them, basically making it look like they have no fault in whatever is going on. But when it came to most of the responses that I saw from this video, one thing that I was happy about was the fact that a lot of men were not outrightly coming to applaud her and saying, preach sis, ride on, you're speaking the truth. There were definitely some men that did that, but there were a lot of other men that did not do that, and I like that because I feel like that is the first step in the right direction. The fact that men themselves are not trying to exempt themselves from the situation and make it look like they're perfect and it's all women's fault that black women are not getting married as quickly or as often as other females of other races. So the first thing that I want to say about what the young lady said, definitely she has her reasons for saying that. She must have observed certain behavior in some women for her to have said that. But the things that rubbed me the wrong way about her whole video is, number one, she made a lot of generalizations. You cannot just generalize a bunch of people under the same umbrella and be like, black women don't do this, black women don't do that, because everybody is different. You don't know what their reality is, so it's wrong for you to generalize. And then the second thing I didn't like about what she said is that it looked like she was blaming one party. Like, you're talking about why black women were not engaged straight out of college, right? And you're not talking about the role the men had to play in that, because last time I checked, it takes two to tango, right? So if you're going to talk about what the women might be doing wrong, you might as well also come out and talk about what the men are also doing wrong. I feel I watched a lot of those reaction videos and I learned a couple of things pertaining to why some of these stereotypes exist in the black community about women, because I learned that a lot of these stereotypes and behaviors can be traced back to history and the generational trauma that black people have passed through as a collective. And that was why I like some of the responses that I just played, especially this particular one, because she broke it down. When from generation to generation, women have had to stand up, they've had to be tougher, they've had to be more independent, they've had to step up and sometimes fill the shoes of a man in the family, play the role of a father, of a provider, of a protector in the absence of the men. So I feel like conversations like this should trigger people to really look deep. I think that is why as a collective, black people have to try and resolve these issues. So it should be a question of how do we break this cycle? How can we support the growth and creation of more black families? This is why I'm pro-black love, pro-black family. If we can heal, the black community as a whole is going to thrive. You guys let me know what you think. What do you think about what she said? And what are your opinions? Let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like my content. Share this video to your loved ones. And don't forget to also turn on my notifications so that you know whenever I drop a new video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.